What's up, everybody? Welcome to Transition Tuesdays. For this Tuesday, October 5th, 2021, I am your host, Russ Williams. I'm so glad you could be here today. I'm quite aware you could have been anywhere in this world today, but you decided to be here with me, and I appreciate that. And more importantly, I appreciate you. So welcome to Transition Tuesdays, my friends. Welcome, welcome, welcome here on this 64, 65 degree fall day here in New York City. Looks kind of dreary out there. Looks like it's about to rain, but hopefully that holds up. But welcome to Transition Tuesdays, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm glad to be here because based on the events, which we're going to talk about a little later on, it's glad to be here on this platform, Facebook platform. But we're going to talk about that. But before I do that, because we have an action-packed show as usual, but before I do that, I always like to state my intentions for the show. And my intentions is to give you the opportunity to laugh, smile, think, and engage in honest conversations about your life's transition. So that's what we do here on Transition Tuesdays. Here, that's what we do here on Transition Tuesdays. So, man, like I mentioned, oh boy, got kind of hairy. And what I wanted to talk about today was, man, we talked about Facebook, you got Instagram, you got the WhatsApp. That went down for like a total of 5 hours yesterday in all across the world for 5 hour time span on a Monday. So just want to be clear. And I just wanted to read this information about what went down, and I wanted to get everybody's thoughts on it. You had Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp all suffered outages midday Monday. And all these apps were down for at least 5 hours. 5 hours they were down. No communication. It appears Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg lost an estimated $7 billion, that's with a B, $7 billion due to yesterday's outage. Man, so, boy, I tell you, that was hairy. I mean, I didn't even realize it was going down, till I heard about it, like on the news. But, I just want to say, hold on one second, let's get rid of this here call, potential spammer here. But I just want to mention, did anybody have a FOMO moment, which is FOMO is fear of missing out? Did anybody have that moment, with those particular apps going down? Because those are very popular apps. And so did anybody have a FOMO moment during that time? And I ask you all, what was it like for you when those apps went down for 5 hours? Because some of us, like myself, not too much, but I am, sometimes you get attached to your phone, or you can get attached to these apps that you use on your phone or what have you, but was it, what was it for you for those 5 hours in which Facebook was down, Instagram, IG was down, and the WhatsApp? Those items, those three apps were down for a long period of time. 5 hours, a long period of time. Some people can't go 5 minutes without checking on these social media outlets. But how was it for you? How was it for you? And yeah, I mean, you hear different stories. I mean, some people, it was probably quite stressful. Because like I mentioned earlier, a lot of times you see people on their phone or on these apps constantly, a constant reminder, constant. And that's when that's taken away. Some people could be a very stressful moment. Where I'm hearing other stories of people, it was a very peaceful moment for them because they were able to put the phone down, probably go about their merry way, maybe working or doing something, socially, and went about their merry way. So a lot of people, they were peace. They found a sense of peace, I guess, doing it as well. I guess it was similar to, back in the days in which when we didn't have these apps, we didn't have cell phones. Well, what did we do? We called people on the phone. We communicated with them. Maybe you had that little withdrawal. Maybe you had to do that in that 5 hour time span. I don't know, but I just want to get everybody's take on that. What was it that you did? What was it what you did? And that little outage reminded me of, and I'm going way back for those, maybe some millennials might be watching, but I remember like it was yesterday in 1977 when the lights went out. There was a blackout in New York City, and I remember that time. It was a power outage, It was out for hours. And you know, I remember my cousin Ricky. Oh, shout out to my cousin Ricky Jackson, who just celebrated a birthday. So happy birthday to you, cuz, my brother, cuz. But happy birthday to you, belated birthday to you. But I remember we were coming back from North Carolina to New York. The blackout hit. You know what I mean? All the lights went out, the whole nine. So, you know, there was a withdrawal there. So maybe kind of similar stories. I don't know, but I just wanted to get that story out there. We got Felicia joining us. What's going on, Felicia? Welcome to Transition Tuesdays on the check-in. Check it in from Rockville, Maryland. Yes, great place. Yes. So now, welcome to Transition Tuesday, Felicia. Appreciate having you on. So, yeah, I mean, it's seemed pretty hairy, and also just looking at what's going on with Facebook, I know there's a whistleblower who I think she had a testimony today in Senate, was talking about Facebook, how, and you know, these are her words. You know, she's just saying how a lot of times prophets were in front of people or ahead of people in terms of what's going on, and maybe the misinformation camp that was going on from the presidential elections, misinformation that might have been spread. A lot of times you have misinformation due to COVID as well, which Facebook is denying all of these claims. But, you know, here you had a whistleblower person who was coming out and talking about these particular items. So, rough day in the Facebook camp, and I'm just happy I'm able to come to you live on Facebook Live today. So, seems like everything's rectified. We're going to see what happens with this whistleblower and her testimony and what that might lead to. Maybe some sanctions, you know, involved with social media. You know, I heard her say a good point. She talked about how, you know, when smoking when we found out it was bad for smoking, there was sanctions on smoking. When they found out, you know, when you're not driving without a seatbelt, you know, and these could cause accidents, there was sanctions on that. So now, in the social atmosphere, the social media sphere, you know, maybe might be coming down with some sanctions on that. So, you know, we'll see. But, yeah. But I guess, but I know some people out there was probably going through that withdrawal syndrome of not being able to communicate, you know, not going out there and looking at IG and looking at the pictures and all that stuff, or WhatsApp, you know, across the country or across the world. That, you know, the WhatsApp, you know, you can communicate with people throughout the world with that app, and you know, and Instagram and Facebook as well. So I know there's a lot of withdrawal, a little withdrawal from some people, but I wasn't that type of person. But you know, but I'm sure there's plenty of people out there who might have been stressful for them, because some people live on those apps. They absolutely live on those apps. But I want to just you know, get from everybody out there, you know, what was the situation for you like in terms of that 5-hour delay, and what could come about with this whistleblower as well. You know, maybe you might have some sanctions coming down in terms of you know, not multimedia, I was just say social media. There might be some sanctions coming down based on her testimony, because she's literally, you know, blowing the roof off of, you know, what was going on. I guess in this case, Facebook. Yeah, so we'll see what goes on with that. But, and also, guys, you know, and I'm not going to be long, guys, for you guys. So, but I want to talk about another important item that's been in the news, and I think it's something that we should talk about in terms of a transition. You're talking about the vaccine and the NBA. Vaccine and the NBA. So just want to go over a couple of statistics about what's going on. So, like, there are over, and these are good statistics, there are over 90% of the NBA players, or players in the NBA, are vaccinated. Over 90%. So that leaves less than like 80 players that are not vaccinated. So those players, and it just came down through the NBA's offices, those players who have decided not to be vaccinated, a couple of things are going to go down for these particular players. Number one is you're not going to get paid for the games that you missed due to you not being vaccinated. So a lot of times that could be, and depending on the state that you play for, let's say in New York and California, You know, they have strict rules in which you can't enter these arenas unless you're vaccinated. If you're not vaccinated, you can't enter these arenas to play. To play and do your job. So you talk about 41 games for certain players if you decide, if you decide not to become vaccinated. Also, what's going down and what's mandated is for those players who are not vaccinated, okay, those non-vaccinated players, you will be tested daily, not weekly. You will be swabbed, and I would imagine through the swab, through the nostrils, you will be swabbed daily. You'll be isolated from your teammates in terms of like when you're having meals and practices, kind of, you always have to be masked up, but you'll be isolated. I believe shower quarters, you'll be isolated. Interviewing process, you'll be isolated. And this goes on a daily basis if you decide not to be vaccinated. So I know that's a big deal that's going on. And I think in the case of many of these players and, the two players I'm about to talk about, but I think with these players, those 80 who are left or less than 80, they got to understand, they got to come to it's going to come to a point where they have to make a business decision. They're going to have to make a business decision about being vaccinated or not. So I'm going to talk about Andrew Wiggins. So Andrew Wiggins, he plays for the Golden State Warriors. And yesterday he got vaccinated. Now, he was on record he wasn't going to get vaccinated. And I remember one reporter asked him, you realize you stand to lose millions of dollars if you're not vaccinated, so that way you can't play in the home games and with Golden State. And Andrew Wiggins abruptly told the reporter, rather brash, he told her, that's my problem, not yours. So, but it seems like Mr. Wiggins has changed his tune because he is now vaccinated. And I recently saw him in front of reporters, and he didn't seem too happy. He seemed like I'm looking here. He says, in a way, he was kind of forced to do it because I think he was left with the business decision: either you play, you play and get vaccinated, you pay, you get paid, or you can't do this in the NBA. So he made the business decision, and he has decided to get vaccinated. And but he didn't seem too happy about it. But hey, he is vaccinated, so he's protected now, and we'll see how it goes there. So I want to talk about Kyrie Irving. Now, Kyrie Irving, to this day, he's still not vaccinated. He's really adamant about it. And I was just looking at some recent statistics. They say in terms of Kyrie Irving, since he plays for the Brooklyn Nets, now, if he decides not to get vaccinated and he will miss all 41 games at home in the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, he stands to lose over $15 million for not playing in home games. $15 million to if he remains unvaccinated. Now, Kyrie, he has to make a business decision. As my man Eric said, what's going on, Eric? Welcome to Transition Tuesdays. Eric says, losing money will make you do it. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. You have to make a business decision, just like I talked about. And Andrew Wiggins made a business decision because he thought about, hey, I'll be losing this money off the top. You're not going to get that money back. I'm going to make a business decision and get vaccinated. So Kyrie Irving has to make a business decision. And, and here's the deal now, because we talk about losing money. Take a guy like Kyrie Irving. Now, Kyrie Irving has the sneakers, those Kyries. Nike pumps those out. It's a great sneaker. It's a fly sneaker. Everybody likes wearing them. I would imagine down the line, if this goes even further out the whole nine, I think Nike will detach themselves from a Kyrie Irving because they don't want that, I guess they don't want that stainage on their brand. So they might drop a Kyrie Irving. And they will be making a business decision, something like that. So, have to make a business decision. And what's funny too, guys, is a lot of times, like you're hearing players, they're saying like, oh, I'm going to do my research and then I'll decide if I'm going to get it or not. I mean, that to me, that's a big cop out because first of all, like when have these players now become doctors or PhDs or scientists? I don't get that. They got to do their research. Because they're really, they're really troublesome about what they put in their bodies. Now, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, these people are world-class athletes. These guys know exactly what they're putting in their bodies. You know what I mean? So, so it's kind of hypocritical, saying, oh, what we put in our bodies, whereas, you don't say that, or you don't say, I'm gonna do the research when you're hurting and they give you these painkillers. You ain't gonna say like, oh, no, I'm not gonna take it now. Let me do the research and find out that's okay. No, these players take what they have, and then they feel better. They feel so much better. So Eric says, I respect whatever you choose to do, but you have to be willing to handle the aftermath. That's right. I agree with you, with Eric, man. You gotta deal with the consequences. And and here's the deal. If you're gonna be about that life of not being vaccinated, you gotta really be about that life about being vaccinated. And what that means is, hey, look, if you decide not to get vaccinated, you have to, wear a mask. You have to be, you have to be away from people. You have to, you can't be out here jet setting, going here, there, and everywhere. You can't do that. So if you're really about that life and about being vaccinated, you have to really promote, you have to really live in that life. And if you are an NBA player, that's almost impossible to do, because you're going to be around players. You're going to be around teammates. You're going to be around people. In a way, and I'll say this, and I'll go on record and say this, those players who are not vaccinated, they are doing an injustice, and Eric talks about the aftermath. Here's the aftermath. The wedge that you're going to create with your teammates, the people you're going to battle with, the people you're trying to win a chip with, especially with the Nets. I mean, the Brooklyn Nets, they have an opportunity to win a championship. Do you realize the wedge that Kyrie Irving is probably possibly doing this for, them not being their full strength, him playing 41 games, you know what I mean? There's a lot at stake here. And, it's not a good thing. You got to accept the aftermath, like Eric says. The aftermath is, you're going to put a wedge in relationships as the teammates. You're going to put a wedge between your organization that you work for. You're going to put a wedge between the fans. You're going to put a wedge between a lot of people because of that. In a way, and I feel that's a selfish act, because you're not even thinking about, you're thinking about yourself. You're not thinking about others. And you being vaccinated is the most selfless thing you can do, because you're protecting not only yourself, but you're protecting, and you want to protect others who are around you. And if you're a professional athlete like a Kyrie Irving, or whoever the last people left in the NBA who have not been vaccinated, this is a selfish act, because you're thinking about yourself. You're not even thinking about your teammates and your family. So again, you got to come to a business decision and really think about that. Because like Eric says, are you willing to handle the smoke, the aftermath of it all? Because I'm from an era like the 90s era, this would be an issue, because you have players who step to you and be like, listen, man, I got the vaccine, everybody else got the vaccine. You need to get the vaccine. You need to be on board. We're trying to win a championship here. Some of these players have incentive-laced contracts in which if they get the players, they get X amount of money. If they win a championship, X amount of money. A lot is at stake, especially for the Brooklyn Nets. A lot are at stake. And so Kyrie Irving, he really has to, he really has to, make a decision, make a business decision, and, make a selfless decision. And that's what happens when you get vaccinated. You're making a selfless decision, because it ain't about you. It's about the others around you, And if you're gonna be about that life, you gotta really be about that life. If you're gonna not decide not to be vaccinated, you gotta be about that life. So Eric says, I agree with you. Are you willing to give it up like an Ali? Yeah. Well, Eric, I'm not sure if you saw the documentary on PBS by Ken Burns, which was great. It was a 4-part documentary series on Ali. I learned so much about that man. And one thing I know for sure, the modern day athlete is not like a Muhammad Ali. This guy risked it all, not going to Vietnam War, and with that, he wasn't allowed to box for a number of years. I don't see today's modern day athlete, willing to give it all up like a Muhammad Ali there. I mean, you know, guys like that, they're not made like that now, especially this generation. They're definitely not made like that. But, you know, in terms of this, you know, why take money off the table? Because again, you know, we talk about $15 million. Now, some people, you know, that might not be a big deal for Kyrie Irving. But, you know, you can't take money off the table. You know, and Eric says, yep, him and Kurt Flood. Absolutely, Kurt Flood as well. Yep, you're right about that, Eric. So, you know, you can't take money off the table, and that's money, that's $15 million, that's money you ain't gonna never get back again. And why? You know, why do it? You know? And I know, you know, and again, I don't want to bang on Kyrie Irving because Kyrie Irving does a lot for the community. You know, he did a lot for the WNBA. I know he does a lot for the Native American people because I know his mom, who passed, was Native American. So he does a lot. So, you know, sometimes we just don't know what people could be going through. You know, it could be something that's, you know, that we don't know why he's not getting the vaccine. But, you know, all in all, I think, you know, a lot is at stake for these players, and you know, being vaccinated, you know, you're saving your lives, saving the lives of others, and you're thinking about others, and and in this case, you should be thinking about your teammates, you know, because these are the people you're going to battle for. You know, these are the people you're in the trenches with, and you know, they want to be at full tilt. You know, we saw with the Brooklyn Nets last year, they had injuries, and that's the reason why they didn't win the championship, most likely. Now, if they're at full strength, and this guy being a major cog in the process, you know, that's something you got to think about. You got to think about your teammates. You got to be selfless and get this vaccine because it's for the better. It's definitely for the better. And, you know, why lose money? Why give money away like that? You know, make the business decision like Alan Wiggins did, you know, Andrew Wiggins. Yeah, he was kicking and screaming. You know, he looked like that on the podium, looked like he was perturbed about it. But, hey, he got it. You know, and probably maybe teammates stepped to him. I don't know. Maybe they did a 90s deal on him. They stepped to him. But he, you know, he did the right thing. And hopefully, you know, Kyrie Irving, because he seems like a good dude, you know what I mean? He does the right thing as well. Hopefully he does the right thing as well. What does Eric say? Eric says, in the long run, that's $15 million. If you are going to to make a stand and speak on it, don't take that shot and not talk about it. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And yeah, you know, if you got it, yeah. The bottom line is, yeah, if you don't take the shot, you know, you got to talk about the reasons why you didn't do it. You know, there's got to be reasons, you know, why you didn't take the shot. And yeah, that's important. And, you know, but again, what kills me is, again, and I'm going to speak on this, is about, you know, doing the research and everything. And here's my deal is this. If you decide not to take the shot, okay, not to take the shot, okay, that's on you. But don't blame it on like research and everything like that. You know, just, you know, hey, if you don't take the shot, say why you're not gonna take the shot, and then, you know, deal with the consequences, deal with the aftermath. You know what I'm saying? So I respect that more than these players coming out saying, oh, you know, I'm gonna do my research and all this stuff, and then I'm gonna think about getting the shot. No, that's a cop out. No, if you don't want to take the shot, just say you don't want to take the shot and just be willing to deal with the consequences, because there are major consequences. And the biggest consequence, don't even think about money at this time. The way this new strand is dealing with people, those people who find themselves in the hospital who do attract COVID, you know, they find themselves in the hospital because they're not vaccinated. Or they find themselves on ventilators because they're not vaccinated. That's the biggest detriment. Forget the money. Forget all that, okay? Just about, if you do happen to acquire it, you know, it's going to be a tough road ahead. You know, and I don't want to see that for anybody. As Eric says, yeah, you owe it to the fans. No doubt about it. You owe it to the people that pay your salary. You owe it to your loved ones. You owe it to your teammates. You owe it to a lot of people. And you owe it to yourself to get vaccinated. So that's what I would say on these two guys, well, especially Kyrie and the other ones who are not vaccinated yet. You got to come down. It comes down to a business decision, and I'm sure you'll make the right decision. I'm sure Kyrie Irving will make the right decision for his family, you know, family and friends and the whole nine. I'm sure he's going to make the right decision to do that as well. I'm sure he will. And think about it like this. I just was thinking about this just now. So let's say Kyrie Irving decides to sit out those 41 games, right? And let's say the Brooklyn Nets, they still make the playoffs, and they probably will make the playoffs because they're gonna win. They're gonna win an awful lot of games, even if he misses 41 home games. Okay. Now, what's to say when playoffs? Is the same thing gonna be in effect? Like he can't play at home games for the playoffs? You know how much of a hole you put your teammates in? A barrier that you putting a wedge between your teammates and management? You know, I just see it. That's just being just a total fiasco. Why put yourself through all of the rigors of that nonsense, you know, by doing that? So, you know, again, got to make a business decision out here, guys. That's what that is about. You gotta make a business decision, man. Charlie says, literally just got home from my booster shot, Russ. Oh, nice, Charlie. Hey, Charlie, maybe next time we're gonna talk about booster shots because I'm running a little late here, but you know I would love to talk to you about that and talk to us about that, Charlie, man, if you can. How was the booster shot for you? You know, talk to us a little about that. And then, you know, in future show we'll talk about booster shots because that's something I definitely want to bring up to the people on here on Transition Tuesdays about the booster shots. You know, who's getting them? You know, how was it? You know, is it necessary to do? So yeah, talk to us a little about that, Charlie, if you would. Okay, man, I appreciate you. So, ladies and gentlemen, if we were able to make you laugh, smile, or think during this broadcast, my good friends, you have accomplished something major today. So celebrate your victory. Celebrate your victory. As Charlie says, absolutely. Just an old guy, Russ. No issues. No, you're not old. You're a young man there, Charlie, you know. Even though you got the booster, I know, you know, they're saying it's like for older people. No. Boosters are going to be for everybody coming shortly, but we're going to deal with the older people first. Not elderly, a little bit older people first. But again, I'm glad to see that you had no issues on it. So Miss OD is joining us here on Transition Tuesdays. Welcome, Miss OD. She says, hi, Russ. She says, Miss OD here, and I'm checking in from Lumberton, North Carolina. Perfect. Yes, absolutely. Welcome to Transition Tuesdays, Miss Odessa. Welcome. So, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to play my music here, my outro music. Hold on one second. Play this here for us. All right. There we go. Yes, sir. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching Transition Tuesdays. I appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. And check out past shows on our YouTube channel, Transition Tuesdays. And please, while you're there, please like and subscribe before you leave the page. Very, very important. And also, if you haven't done so already, you can follow me on Instagram. And hopefully everything's up and running, doing well. So you can follow me on Instagram at Russ Will Transitions. That's Russ Will Transitions with an S. Please join me there. And also, major shout out to you, the Transition Army. You know, I'm going to give you guys applause. Hold on a second. Let me interrupt my music here. I'm going to give you guys applause, okay? Giving the Transition Army an applause here today. That's what I'm going to do. You know why? Because you guys were my special guest today. So I'm going to give you guys an applause here. So thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much here. Thank you. So let's get back to the theme music as I get back to that, okay? 1 second. So thank you. So, speaking of guests of Transition Tuesdays receive a candy gift pack, compliments of our sponsor, Sweet Candy Cafe. Now, Sweet Candy Cafe is is the home of Southern Sweetness and located in downtown Lumberton, North Carolina. That's where Miss OD is from, all right? Now, after the show, we're almost done. So after the show, head over to sweetcandycafe.com and get you some of those confectionery goodies, all right? And always keep in mind, they ship everywhere, so it's no excuse. You can get the candy shipped to you everywhere, each and everywhere. We had it all the way from Spain. I've already sent it already to Iceland. We send them everywhere. Sweet Candy Cafe, they deliver each and every time. So again, remember the site. That's sweetcandycafe.com. And I'm going to do something different, man, that I've never done before, guys. The first person to inbox me the full name, Okay, the full name, the mailing address, and email. I'm gonna send you a candy gift pack, compliments to Sweet Candy Cafe. So again, when we're done here, inbox me your full name, mailing address, and email, and if you're the first one, I'm gonna send you one, a candy gift pack, compliments of Sweet Candy Cafe. Okay, because that's what I like to do, and we support small businesses here on Transition Tuesdays. The last thing, my man, my former teammate Mike shouting us out. He says, "What's up, Russ? Laugh, cry, and spend some time in thought." That's Sunday, Jimmy V. No doubt about that. I got a little derivative from that as too, Mike. Yes. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, Transition Army, as we say in parting, happy transitioning, and we'll speak to you soon. God bless, guys. Take care.